As the new school year approaches, it really is time to shift from that summer spontaneity to structured living. Today we're going to talk about the art of crafting a healthy family routine so that we can create greater resilience and happiness and fulfillment for not only parents, but for kids as well. So join us today as we learn how to transform chaos into calm and unlock the power of structured living for a thriving school year ahead. Let's jump in. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Welcome back, my friends, to episode number 142, From Overwhelm to Order, Strategies for a Structured School Year. So every August, I find myself craving structure again, and just like in May, and this is very similar to May when I start to itch for some more flexibility, well, right now, with the school year fast approaching, I just need greater structure. And I've had several clients lately talk about how all they want now is a successful family routine that helps them get back into those better habits, like healthier eating or the structured bedtimes or a homework time that allows for kids to do it without complaining. And I'm right there with them. I want that back. I've had enough time this summer to kind of have that flexibility and be around my kids a lot more. And now I'm just ready for us all to get back to some order and to calm the chaos. So if you are like us, this episode today is for you. But first, before we jump in, don't forget to go to fulfillment.therapist.org to connect with us. If you want to get our weekly emails that kind of breaks down the podcast episodes, tells you what's coming up, shows you where to find our blog, all these different things. And you just enter your email one time and you will get those weekly emails to just share what is happening, and gives you a wonderful little synopsis as well as some quick tools to help you thrive in your personal and family life. So check that out, as well as one-on-one coaching and all the other things that we have on fulfillmenttherapy.org. And as always, you can go to the show notes to find us in all of the places, like social media, really pretty much everything. So just check that out in the notes and you can find us in all those places. All right, are you ready to talk about how to have success in creating that order after all the craziness of the summer? Well, I definitely am. So let's get to it. So as this new school year approaches, or maybe for you it's already begun, I don't know. It's already begun. It's important to establish routines that promote organization and that productivity and that well-being for both children and adults. Robert Collier said, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out." I personally am a child of habit. I love structure. My husband is the opposite end, and I think we balance each other out. For example, I am very steady with my 5 days a week of workouts at the gym. He's kind of like, I'll just take what I can get and I'll be happy with it. And I do believe that structure brings the most benefits, but there are times that it's important to be flexible too. But today it is all about creating that structure, and then as things come up, like family sicknesses or whatever, there's opportunities for flexibility in that as well without that shame. So where I have my clients start is by setting clear goals and priorities. Define your family's priorities for this upcoming school year. So that could be academic success or extracurricular activities or quality family time. Establish clear goals that will help you guide your routine and your decision-making process. Now, I talk about this a lot, but this is a value-led approach. So what does your family value? For example, this year I really want to make more full family memories because it's my daughter's senior year. And I also want to put more focus on family councils and more connection bids with my husband because we are beginning our 20th year of marriage and my daughter's final year of high school, and I really want to highlight those things this year. So what is it like for you? What do you want to highlight and have be more of a priority for you this coming year? All right, the second one is create a daily schedule. And this is going to help if you sit down in your family councils. Remember, we do ours for about 30 minutes on Sundays. We do about 30 minutes as a couple. Well, I would say probably 20 to 30 minutes personally, and then as a couple, and then as a family. It can be longer or shorter, but that's about what I do to be able to map everything out for the week. And that prevents massive chaos and helps us live more intentionally. Without that, there's less connection, there's more resentment, there's more arguing, and there's more chaos ultimately. So this includes designating times for waking up, for meals, for homework, for play dates, for bedtime, whatever that might be. Consistency really is the key to promoting that sense of safety and security for your children and that stability. Honestly, especially if you have younger kids, they really thrive with that. I know even my kids that I assume don't need that, very much need that. So gone are the days of long, unstructured summers and too many screens. One thing that we do is we put up a big calendar in our kitchen that the kids can see. It's our, I forgot what we call that thing. Our command center. So that big calendar with little folder things on the wall that they can put their papers that they need, where they can put important papers, but it's all kind of organized where they can see what the plan is in a month view, all right there. And then we review that in our family councils. So we put up that big calendar, we talk about those plans, and we also give our kids a planner, and then during our family councils, they pull that out and they tell us what they have coming up and what they want to do. So it's not just, here's your chores, these are the assignments, those things, but it's the fun things too. So the third one is establish morning and evening routines. This means implementing that morning and evening routine to streamline those transitions and reduce that chaos. So this could be incorporating activity. This could be scheduling your breakfast together or packing your backpacks the night before or winding down with bedtime stories. Whatever it might be that your kids need. Maybe if you have little kids, it's like bath time right before bed, whatever that might be. Maybe it's tucking them in with a funny story or sharing the positives of that day. Just think about what works for your family and get their collaboration too. So the next one is designated homework time. Have a specific time for homework and study sessions and provide a space that's free from distractions. So all of these tips I've compiled from different research from experts in the field of what helps families thrive, and also what my clients are sharing works best for them and what we do in our family. Encourage your children to break down their tasks into manageable chunks and reward themselves when they complete it, so that they'll have more motivation and productivity. So we make this fun with maybe a healthy snack or connection bids where we have that loving touch or smiling or actually looking at them when they're talking. Anything that we can do so that when they come home, they enjoy talking to you, instead of having that first interaction be something where you're asking, where did you put this? Or why can't you put your backpack away? Or nagging them about their homework, but really focusing instead on making that a connection time. Those arrivals and those departures are really important, not only for couples, but for kids as well. All right, the next one is encourage open communication. I kind of spoke to this a little bit before, but this is where you ask your kids about their feelings and their concerns and achievements. This is where you create opportunities for families to discuss their goals or their challenges or their successes. And again, like I said, we do this in a family council on Sundays, but it could be whenever is best for your family. And this creates more collaboration and less resentment and less resistance. So if you have a kid with power struggles and there's a lot of that going on, this is really important for those personalities especially. Dr. Emily Smith, who's a child psychologist, talked about the importance of consistency and structure. She said, predictable routines provide children with a sense of security and help them develop self-discipline and responsibility. And I know you are also looking for that in your own families. Who doesn't need more self-discipline and responsibility in their families, right? So that comes from being consistent and structured. All right, let me give you a few other tips. I want you to prioritize self-care, especially now that we're going into more structure. This is the time to reevaluate what you missed out on during the summer and you want to incorporate more in your life. So, for example, this could be scheduling regular breaks or relaxation things that you enjoy, or that quality family time. This is where you encourage your children to do things outside of school in order to recharge and rejuvenate. So in our family, that looks like pickleball and tennis and baths for parents of young kids that just want to lock the door and read a book. This could be short neighborhood walks. This could be going to book club or any sort of club that will help you engage in a hobby. I often like to go to our gym and go hot tubbing when I just need to soak and tune everything out. I don't currently have my own, but I really want one someday soon. This could be biking while the weather is still nice, or paddle boarding, whatever it might be. Think about what you love to do for self-care that really rejuvenates not just you, but your children, and schedule those things in as you're doing your family councils. Another tip is model those healthy habits and lead by example. So this includes showing them how to manage their time better and how to organize better and do self-care. This empowers your children to develop their own routines and habits for success. Now, I'm really great at structuring my life, but sometimes I don't do well at communicating with them what it is that I'm doing, and then helping my kids do the same thing. So taking that pause to teach them what I'm doing is really an important step that sometimes I miss out on, and maybe you're the same way. Another one, like I spoke to with my husband, is stay flexible and adapt. So I sometimes can be a little bit more rigid with our schedule, not excessively so. I think I've come a long way, but there is definitely room for a balance there. So you have that structure, but then remain flexible and adaptable in your routine if something unexpected happens. Not just because you don't feel like it and you keep pushing it to the side, but more like, this thing came up. Your son is sick that day and there's several other appointments, so you have to rearrange that a little bit. Whatever that might be. Again, this isn't an excuse to abandon structure, but to give yourself floor days. And I'm putting it in quotes because I heard this, was it from? I think it was from Brooke Snow that talked about you can have floor and ceiling days. Like ceiling days is like, yes, I'm nailing everything. This is an awesome day. I can do a lot. And your floor days are like, man, this is a really hard day. A lot of things are going on. I'm still going to hit my goal, but it's going to be that lower end of the goal. So give yourself those floor days and recognize what a ceiling day and a floor day might look like. And then just 2 more tips. Number 9, I didn't say the other ones. This is celebrate achievements. So celebrate those small victories and share them with each other to motivate and inspire one another. So recognize their efforts and their progress and reinforce that growth mindset, which really does foster that confidence and that self-esteem. I talk about this a lot, but that 5-to-1 magic ratio, really look to build that too by talking about 5 positives to 1 negative. It's really easy to do this when you focus on the victories and the achievements, because you're naturally talking about the good things. We often make plans to celebrate goal success to increase our family buy-in. So talk about those things and get excited about how you're going to celebrate. Sarah Johnson is a family therapist, and she says, focus on progress, not perfection, and celebrate the small victories along the way. Building resilience and perseverance in children is a journey, not a destination. So again, this is about progress, not perfection, and celebrating those small victories as we go. Okay, our last and final tip for today. Reflect and adjust as needed, which is a little bit like the flexibility, but not quite. So the reflection is the key piece here. So as we regularly reflect on your new family routine and make those adjustments, make room for feedback and for observations, and involve the children in this decision-making process, and encourage them to share their thoughts and ideas for improvement. Listen to them and thank them and follow through on feedback. I recently had a client that shared that her sons hated that she wasn't giving them enough warning about going to bed or being done with screens. So she thanked them for their feedback and then made a plan to give them an hour notice when possible so that they were prepared for those things. And also she shared, you know what, I can't always give you that warning, but I'm going to do my best. So for those times that I don't, please remain flexible and recognize I'm doing my best, but it's not always possible. Like, we both need to be flexible here. So they talked about that in their family council type of meeting as well. And then they checked back on it. Like, okay, how are we doing with that? As we begin a new school year, prioritize the creation of that healthy and that structured routine that will allow you to have greater success and more well-being and fulfillment in your family. And it can start in these simple ways by utilizing these tips that I shared with you today, these powerful strategies. And that can help you navigate the challenges of the school year with that greater confidence and resilience. And I always go back to resilience, but that is really what we're looking for here, is to build greater resilience and fulfillment in our homes. Remember, success is not measured by perfection. I know so many of us are perfectionists, but it's by that consistent effort we put into nurturing our families and creating more meaningful connections. Albert Schweitzer said, "Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful." Okay, sometimes it feels like a tall order to find happiness in family structure and schedules and the chaos of family life too. Yet, I find that from what my clients say and what I have found, when you put a little time in the beginning of the year to structure your schedule and put that energy, and it's not even that much, you just think it's going to be, but put a little bit of energy into creating those routines, everyone is happier. Everyone manages stress better, and life truly is more fulfilling. I want you to think in closing again about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and his pyramid. I've talked about that a lot. If you haven't seen it, the bottom is our basic needs and the top is our growth needs. And we want to move from the bottom of that pyramid as both an individual and as a family into our growth needs, because at the top of that pyramid, that is where we find greater fulfillment. That is where we become our best selves and become who we were meant to become. And we don't want to just survive this school year. We want to thrive, and we want our children to thrive as well. And in order to do that, we need to get intentional. We want to get intentional. There's no shame there. We want to. So now that the summer is over or winding up, it's time to get structured, my friends. Best of luck to you this coming school year as you get tactical and structured in order to become your best self personally and as a family. Take care, my friends. I'll see you back here in just a few days. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to check out our new blog on fulfillmenttherapy.org. And if you're ever interested in being an intern, check it out on fulfillmenttherapy.org and find out all the details. Until next time. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you. No matter what your house or your hair looks like, I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.